Welcome to iPen Podcast, Interviews and Conversations. Here we bring entrepreneurs and their business to their audience and communities as well as ours. We welcome and connect with them to share who they are and what they do. Authors, entrepreneurs, we extend the invitation to promote your business here on our podcast and in iPen Magazine. Your article, your story, your promotions, how you can connect with others, a new audience, a quarterly magazine presented online for all to view and subscribe to. For articles, ads, and subscriptions, please contact ipendesigns@gmail.com. For your viewing, you can see past articles, past interviews on www.nanettembuchanan.com. Welcome to the show. Good evening. My name is Nanette Buchanan, and welcome to iPen Podcast, Interviews and Conversations, where we don't even know what we're going to talk about. We just know who our guest is, and we know she's bringing some fire. So that's all we know. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys that if you are an entrepreneur, a business person, networking in your community, or doing any kind of networking activity, this is a networking station. What we want to do is help you network. We want you to connect with the people that are on our show, and we want them to connect with you. So please subscribe, look at our past interviews, and see who you want to talk to. It's as simple as that. Send us an email, and we will connect you. We will. So before we get started with our guest for tonight, I want to bring to the stage my partner, Felice Reeves. She's my partner in crime, and you guys know what kind of crimes I do because I don't know all the buttons on the computer and I don't always do the promotions right. But we're getting better because we've been here a year now, so we must be doing something right. There's people that are viewing and there are people that are enjoying and loving our show. So welcome to the stage, Felice. Good evening, my dear. How are you?
Evening. Happy Monday evening to you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, Monday evening.
Yeah,
the start of another week, right?
Man, and they're flying.
The start of another week.
Believe we're in the middle of April already?
Listen, the year's not going fast enough because I'm tired of the weather going up and down. I don't know how it is for you. I don't know how it is for everybody else. But here, North Carolina, 30 degrees. I'm a little sick of it. And it's 30 degrees with pollen. Nonetheless.
The two are not supposed to coexist. No. Oh, wow. Oh, bless your soul.
Breathing in pollen and blowing out frost.
If it was 30 degrees here, this smile would not be on my face. So yay, Dallas, because it probably
exactly 30 degrees. You get up in the morning, you can't even go outside. I mean, it's done. My flowers are like, when am I going out? No, you can't. You can't. I can't put you out on the patio. I can't do anything.
Well, let me see if I can.
It's
put this
terrible.
No, I can't.
No, you can't.
It's like 85 degrees right now.
Well, it's 82 here this afternoon. That's what I'm saying. We go up from 30 degrees to 80 degrees in one day. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, but anyway, I bet our guest is having the same problem because it's happening all across the country. So we want to bring to the stage our guest for this evening. Tonight's guest is Miss Shauntel Murphy.
Yay.
Come on to the stage. Welcome to the stage. How are you?
Hi. Now, greetings from San Francisco. How you guys doing?
Oh, good.
Okay. And how's your weather out there?
Yeah, how's your weather?
It's really beautiful right now. It's a good 60 degrees, but that's here in San Francisco. And the rest of the Bay Area is like 70, 80, even 90 degrees. So
wow,
we're really having a good day today.
Okay. So have you been going up and down with the temperatures?
Absolutely. Yeah. In April, you get pretty much all seasons in one day sometimes out here.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess it's just
okay.
Running across the
country. So everybody's experiencing it. Felice is from Texas.
Yes, I'm in Dallas.
We're having all kind of
you know, yeah, we just were saying that this is crazy. This is insanity right here.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to dress.
Right.
You don't know what to wear.
Right.
But Shauntel, we want to welcome you to our show. And even though we're all confused about the weather, we're not confused about you. We're not confused about you being our guest and us having a good time. We're not confused about that. But something I want to do that we do to all of our guests, because we don't want to shortcut who you are. So we're going to ask you, who is Shauntel Murphy?
That's a great question. Shauntel Murphy is definitely a pioneer for the people. I have spent over 2.5 decades inside of corporate America. And when I left, I really just jumped off the cliff and I started sewing my own parachute on the way down. And that's just how I tackle life. I started my own company called Wishing You Well in Life. That is a term of endearment to the economy, is I wish the economy well. I am a life and CEO coach. And that's what I wish for my clients and the corporations that they do have. I'm really wishing them well through the strategy that I have built upon through my experience inside of the corporate arena. And then also too, as me being a coach, I have almost 20 certifications as a coach. So I'm a business coach, a confidence coach, a mindfulness coach, a meditation coach. So I'm really fusing all of that together. And then last but not least, I'm an author and a global leadership speaker. So one of my books is called Influence Yourself in Leadership and Life. That just came out on Amazon on March the 1st. And I love being a global leadership speaker because the type of leadership skills that we have and that I do provide for other individuals is not just a local thing. It is something to put on a global platform. So I'm really having a good time out here. And it's really my God-given mission to work and to serve. So
awesome. Yay.
All right. Well, you know what? You said more than a mouthful.
Yes.
And saying more than a mouthful, that means that your clients, those that hear you in audience, and those that come and read your book or join your program will get more than what they expect. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Making sure that your clients and everyone that you touch, especially when you have a purpose-driven platform, you have to have a lot of people I find have a platform and it's money driven. It's not purpose driven. So to hear you speak about what you do and why you do it definitely ignites the purpose part that goes into it, how you do what you do. Now, just tell us a little bit about the global leadership. What is that?
Well, with that is it just starts that I have a lot of clients that are all over the world. I have clients that are here in the States. I have clients that are in the UK, clients that are in Australia, clients that are traveling. They're making entry into other countries. And the one thing about it is that as a CEO, we do wear many hats. And as we start to wear those hats in our business, it starts to grow. We have to start to delegate those assignments to other people. So I do kind of give them that people-centric approach where they're able to turn a group of people into now a well-oiled team of people. And nowadays we're on a platform where you have diverse cultures and you have a lot of individuals that are working. They're from the silent generation all the way down to Gen Z now. So the workforce is really dynamic, and I really want to help them so they're able to make a good impact and they're able to make good use of their team. So when you put together a lot of different global best practices that have worked, I want to be able to gift my clients and with other individuals with those same skills. That way they're really set up to win, where it's almost like failure is almost impossible.
Okay, so as you said in the beginning that you left corporate America after 2.5 decades, amazing. You don't look like you're 2.5 decades old.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's a good compliment. Thank you. I'll take it.
And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. However, so what was your decision to leave corporate America and then walk us through the process of how you then kind of transformed yourself into being the founder of a global leadership program.
I appreciate that question, because as I was working in the corporate world, I came across some phenomenal leaders. And with those phenomenal leaders, everything was just working in sync. Those phenomenal leaders, they were really champions for the people. When they made decisions, it was decisions that proved to be valuable for us. And then I started working with some toxic leaders. And then I really started to see how they had that cannonball approach to our organization. I start to see individuals, having like decision fatigue, where they were exhausted from decisions, and then they trickled over into being burnt out. And when you see individuals that are burnt out, that means that they don't have a furnace within them. Because when you have a furnace, you can keep that furnace burning forever. But that furnace, it just didn't exist in people anymore. And they were really burnt out, exhausted, tired, and they were withering away. And this was before the silent resignation even became in place. So the thing that I saw was that I knew the solutions to the problems. I always was able to have a good relationship with frontline individuals all the way to the C-suite. And I knew what could be done, but the leaders, they chose to do something a little bit different. So I had to extract myself from that situation and become solution oriented. So with my business, now I do understand individuals' pain points, and I have the answer. I have the prescription so that people do not have to suffer, so that we are able to live this life. You understand that we spend most of our time at work. And that time we cannot get back. Time is not money. Time is our life. This is our life that we're spending here. So I really want to be able to be a transformation for people's lives and for how they do lead and how individuals show up to work. So it became almost like, this is what I have to do. I was called to do it. My soul would not rest until I went on ahead and took this time. And I've had a good time ever since.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The thing that I like about it is that you're taking it from a whole different perspective, one that most people do not see until they get ready to retire. They don't realize how they may have fought a battle that was losing. They don't realize how they should have elevated earlier. They don't realize how they should have left earlier before they wore themselves out or got burnt out. They don't realize a lot of this until they sit back in retirement and say, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know, they don't even realize that that's a step. They don't realize, or they don't prepare. They don't prepare for the future. And a lot of, especially in my generation, a lot of people just look for the better job, the better education, and the retirement package. With the world evolving the way it is today, there is no pension. The 401k may not be there. Your Social Security is null and void because you didn't put in early enough in your life. And those that are following you are not putting in. So the money is dwindling. People think that the money is dwindling because someone took it. No, you got to put in. It's a system where it has to constantly be put into. Well, if you tell people to take 8 or 9 years off of those years of putting in, the money dwindles. The money goes down. So the pot is not the same as it was before. But when I retire, I'm looking for my pot. Well, your pot is not going to be the same as a person that started working at the age of 12 versus someone who started working at the age of 24. Right. You're just not going to get the same retirement package. You're not going to be able to get that. In my generation, I believe maybe 5 to 10 years younger than me may still have that packed package where they started working as teenagers. You know, if you didn't start working as a teenager, your Social Security is not enough for you to do anything with. So therefore, we have a lot of people like yourself, myself, but I'm doing it after retirement. But you have a lot of people such as yourself that are looking at it from a whole different perspective. And this is a perspective that I've said in my job 1,000,001 times. You're burnt out. You need a vacation. Go home. rest, come back, and you'll feel brand new. Don't take the shortcut home. Take the long route home. Don't stop at the bar on the way. Don't stop at your girlfriend's house. Just take a longer ride home. Don't go the same way every day. Don't do the same routine every day. Go to the gym in the afternoon instead of the morning. Change your routine around. Do something that's going to make your body recognize a change. And if you recognize a change, then you can hone into what our guest, Shauntel Murphy, is saying, that there's other solutions to the wellness of your mind, your health, being stable for your job, creating a new entrepreneurship. There's people, Shauntel, I know you know. There's people that want to start their own business and they're saying, but I don't want to do all of that.
Yeah.
What you mean you don't want to do all of that? It's your business.
Right.
So the idea of building a team, what am I going to say to my team when I tell my team that I don't want to do it?
Yeah. And I imagine that you tell your team in various ways. The words might not come out of your mouth, but you tell them that you're done. But then, Shauntel, how does your clientele find you, right? Because was in corporate America for more than 2.5 decades. When especially those ones that are in that rut and don't recognize, as Nanette said, that, if you just go a different way or a different route, being kind of stuck in, how it's evolved into this fall back and fall out. So how do you, get in front of those people, or how do they find you? Because most people don't look outside of their, their environment to overcome things. So what does that look like? How does someone find you, a person that can help them out of the rut?
Yeah, well, a lot of the time, some of my clients say, "Will find me on various podcasts, like something like this platform," or they might be able to find me on social media as they are scrolling, as they're scrolling on Instagram. They might see one of my posts, or on LinkedIn or something of that sort. But I really just try to educate individuals on different social media platforms. I try to go live and give out different nuggets of knowledge. I do like different master classes. I try to present at different retreats. And also too, I do love the global speaking platform of while I do webinars and different events for leadership conferences. And I really love working with my entrepreneurs, because the thing about it is that you waiting on that pot of gold with your 401k or your IRA, it just may not exist. So like I tell them, once you create your own rainbow, you'll always have that pot of gold right there.
Love it.
Well, let me ask you this. How do I know that I need you? What's a telltale sign? And I say this because, like I said, in training classes that I've had to give, and in talking about stress management, talking about home life and the balance of work life, talking about mental fatigue, talking about, these type things are things that most corporations or most big companies or government agencies, they make people go to training for it. So the people sit in training and they're sitting there like this and they're not paying attention and they're not hearing what you're saying. But when you say it and it resonates, when they go home and figure out, you know what, I'm doing exactly what they were talking about. How does one wake up to it? How does it, what should I be looking for in what I'm doing in my routine that would say it's time for you to find this type of coach? I need this type of coaching.
Well, like I tell a lot of leaders, within the past 4 years, have you really evolved as a leader these last 4 years? Did you really live these last 4 years? Or did you just live 1 year 4 times? If you lived that 1 year 4 times, then you should have seen me a long time ago. How often are you going to wake up and you still have that problem in front of your face? How long are you going to have those sleepless nights where you're worried about your team? How long are you going to stress out? How long do you think that your problem is just going to fix itself? It's not going to fix itself. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a mentor. Everyone needs a cheerleader for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that sometimes leaders think that they have to live on this island by themselves and they to figure it out. And this is their destiny and their calling. No one's being called to struggle like that. No one's you don't have to just be sleep deprived like this. Like you're literally burning yourself out, aka killing yourself. It's not the job that's killing you, it's you killing you. So let's just stop this right now. Let's just stop this self-sabotage and let's just take it from ground one and then we can just start to work from there.
Right.
Wow. I love it.
And in that, the mental mindset, and this is one of the topics that I discuss when I go to different places about balance and mental mindset. I don't know if you know, but I do know that our guests know, and I know Felice knows, I worked in law enforcement. I worked behind the walls of a prison, and I was a female in a male institution. So I'm going in there stressed every day. I'm going in there with the unknown every day. I'm going in there trying to figure out what's going to happen every day. So my mental mindset had to be changed. My well-being was what I was after. I want to go in being the person that I am, and I want to come home being that same person. I don't want to come home crazy. I don't want to walk out crazy. But there are some secretaries that walk in one way and come out crazy. There's some people that drive buses with the kids on the bus. I know that they crazy because the kids are crazy. So, when you think about these different jobs that people perform, and then they say, enough, I want to go into my own career or my own, what I think is my purpose or my dream job. What about the change of the mindset and the balance? What do we tell them then?
Well, the one thing I always tell people is that we have to be able to send good signals to ourselves, because sometimes we send the wrong signals to ourselves that the job is more important than us. That's
good.
Is greater than us. And we are truly valuable. We do have something that we're called to do, and the soul does yearn for that. So I tell individuals to set up guardrails and protect your space. Protect your space. Have those guardrails so that nothing can get to you. And if you feel like right now is the moment for you to jump from that one job and to start your own career, I call them entrepreneurs, because they're still inside the job and now they're gaining entry.
Right.
So with that mindset shift is to start sending better signals to yourself that guess what? The best part of our life, it hasn't even happened yet. But we're right now, and to really start getting excited about it. I believe that we all have that CEO mindset. We just have to tap into it. Like I tell individuals, what you do once, the mind forgets. If you do it twice, the mind remembers. What you start to do for 30 days, that's now your identity. So step into your CEO identity and reframe those negative thoughts into something positive, because we're creating your rainbow. Get excited about that.
Right. And you are so right. You are so right, because without that positive mindset, you'll explode. And you don't want to explode on what you're trying to produce. You don't want to explode on the job because you're going to lose your job. But you don't want to explode at home because you're going to lose your family and your support.
Right.
Well, if you're trying to build a business, you definitely, especially in those building stages, you don't want to explode. And that's what Shauntel is talking about here. She's talking about making sure that you're stable enough to walk the steps, because those first steps are gentle steps. Those first steps are very important. I mean, somebody throw paperwork at you and tell you, okay, what kind of business you want to build? And you'd be like, I just want to do nails. No, you don't. No, you don't. What type of business do you want to have? How many people are you going to have in your business? Oh, well, I'm going to have about 5 of my girlfriends. No, you're not. Are they clinicians? Do they have license? Because if they don't have license and they're in your business is now in trouble. So you have to think about, where's your mind when you're building this business? It starts here, but you got to put it in play. You got to get a coach like Shauntel, who's going to tell you, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you're
Exactly.
not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to get somebody that's going to steer your ship for you until you can steer. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about coaching. You're not a leader yet. You can't be a leader until you know what you're leading.
Yeah.
You can't lead if you don't know what you got.
Right. And Shauntel, I want to thank you for what you just stated, because Nanette knows this. My motto is go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. But my thought about that is there's not even a thought, but you must surround yourself with people you celebrate as opposed to tolerating. Of course, there's always some sort of tolerance.
The balance, right.
But also what you've given me is a deeper understanding that, and I've known this, but now I have to articulate this, that you yourself must celebrate you instead of tolerating you, because then when you're tolerating this stuff, you get into that red, right? So it is you that have to do the celebrating of you instead of tolerating you. So thank you for that, because that adds. And then also, I just want to say too, in that vein, that immediately when you started talking, I was like, you are a celebrator and not a tolerator, because you have truly wrapped yourself into the purpose of it. And that's what celebration is to live in that, in the purposefulness of everything. That's celebration, right? So thank you for that. Thank you. And thank you for what you're doing. But yeah, you just gave me some in-depth into that. So.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, in every bit and piece of what you're saying, it's almost like a meal that you have to constantly provide the nutrition to and constantly eat. No matter how many times you told that, you have to constantly say it. I say it all the time. Every week I say, Felice is my partner in crime. And most people laugh about it because of the way it's stated. But the thing about it is, it's a crime not to be able to do what you need to do in your business.
Yeah.
It's a crime.
Yeah.
It's a crime to yourself. It's a crime to those that you want to serve. It's a crime to how you're presented. So my partner in crime usually says, did you touch the button? Did you do this? Did you do that? Don't touch that button. Don't move that over. That's the checkpoint of what you need when you say, okay, we want you to be authentic, be you, but understand that leadership works both ways.
Right.
That just because you're the CEO of the company does not mean that you can't get advice from those that are in the company working with you and for you.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you mean. I mean, say it so that people can understand it if I'm saying it wrong. But I think that's what you're saying when you're saying pick a team that you can work with, because no man is an island. You can't do this all by yourself. And there are others that have done it. And there are others that can show you the platform. Now you can take that platform and color it whatever color you want.
Right.
But the platform is yours to bring in those partners in crime, because you're going to commit a crime if you destroy what you think you had. You're going to be really upset when you find out that Felice knew how to do the computer and she didn't tell me. Shauntel knew that I was working in the wrong spot and she didn't tell me. Right. You can't have that type of platform. You have to have a platform where everyone works together.
So, Shauntel, so give me maybe some the definition of authentic leadership in your mind.
I think that authentic leadership, and what I do coach my clients is about them having that confidence, about them having that bold approach, about them. First, I talk to them, if they want to have that type of leadership, you have to be able to stand up for yourself. Because if you can't stand up for yourself, there's no way you can speak up for other people. I need for you to speak up for yourself. And that goes about them sending good signals to themselves. Because a lot of people, we've just shut down on ourselves. But I want them to be able to have compassion for themselves, and then they can gift that to other people. One of those things about having that authentic leadership approach is about them showing charity. And I'm not talking about time or money. I'm talking about the charity of love. Once you that charity of love to your team, they're going to show that right back to you. Once you are authentic, now I want you to be able to also to hire other people that have those same qualities as you. You're hiring different layers of people. I want you to hire people who are from Gen Z, millennial, baby boomers, silent generation. Now, when you're at the table and you guys are discussing things, now everybody's able to come up with different solutions, and you're able to really start to get the ball rolling with momentum. You get momentum when you have a lot of different diverse cultures and diverse generations sitting together. Because if we're all the same, we're all going to have the same answers. And you don't want that. You want to be able to solve the problem that your clients have, whatever that problem is. And so when you are authentic and you're standing up for yourself, for your team, and you have a diverse mix of people, now you're able to take those bold approaches. While everybody else is playing small, that's because they're thinking small. But now you got a good team, and you can play it big. You can take bigger steps. And when you're taking those bigger steps, that's how you're going to be able to leave your legacy. It's the people and the systems that you put in place, because we can't work forever. None of us can do this forever. But if we put the right people and the right systems in place, now that legacy will be able to live on forever. And when you do have that authentic ingredient involved in on it, now you're going to be looked at as a model to be best practice.
Well, yeah. Shauntel, I don't like all of that stuff. I mean, this is my business. This is mine. Why should I have to listen to a group of people that I asked to work with me? Why should I even have to listen to them? Because after all, I'm paying that one. That one was my girlfriend from high school. That one, she was dating my brother. This one was doing this, and that's my husband over there. Why I gotta listen to all of these other people? Why I gotta do that?
That's a great question. And to a client that I would have like that, that's the type of client that has lived 1 year 4 times. And I'm going to tell them to stop negotiating with your old self. Stop negotiating with your own self. Success isn't the problem. It's your negotiation skills. We don't negotiate with fear, with problematic, with that type of conflict. Let's go ahead and let's embark on your new self, and your new self will understand it's not a group of people. This is a team that we are defining so that we can future-proof ourselves. But while your team is getting future-proof, we need for your mind to get future-proofed as well, too.
Well, you know what? I brought that up because of the simple fact that there are many. Did I say many?
Yeah.
I said many, right? There are many who assume that because I'm the CEO, because I'm the one that had the thought, because I'm the one who's married to the person with the finances. They just assume that friends and family are the first things that they can grab. And I can then manipulate and maneuver with this difficult mindset and not really be seated in what the purpose is. I'll forget all about the purpose if I keep concentrating on those that I want to work with and can't work with, even those with better skill. You come in with a better skill, I can't hire you because you know more than I do.
Yeah, no, that part. Well, I have a burning question, and I've been wanting to ask this since I read your bio. And then you said something, Shauntel, in your introduction of yourself. So give me the influencer versus the leader. Leadership. Because in our culture today, all you hear is influencer this, influencer that, influencer that. That's in my mind, but I don't want to kind of lead you, but I feel I know what you're going to say. It does not equate to leadership.
Yeah, the thing about it is that we're all influenced by something, just like my book. It's called Influence Yourself in Leadership and Life. And we have good influences and we have bad influences. And the thing about it is that as a leader, we're built on top of those influences that we have, whether it's good or it's bad. I just want for people to recognize how they are being influenced. What is influence? Are you influenced by hysteria? Because that's no good. We can't do that. I don't want you to be influenced of the waves of the stock market or of the political campaign or of the economy. I want you to be more rooted like with your religion, with your family values. values, with your core values. And then once you have those good influences in you, then as a leader, we're automatically influencing people. We're automatically mentoring people. We're automatically parenting people, whether we know it or not. We're coaching people. And so I want for them to be a positive influence in whatever that is. And, 10 years ago, being an influencer, that didn't even exist. Being a content creator, that didn't even exist. But we were still doing those things and not even knowing it. Martin Luther King has been an influencer. The title of being an influencer. So we have to be careful as CEOs, entrepreneurs, leaders about what we do and what we say and how we act, because people are watching us more than they're watching the clock. They're watching what we do and how we treat them. And the thing about it is that we're not even aware that we've probably influenced hundreds of people, but they're never going to come back and tell you that.
That's right. That's
You
right.
don't hear those types of things until we take our last breath. And then at the funeral service, it's a line wrapped around and they're saying all the wonderful things you did. But until that moment, we don't know who we're impacting. But as a leader, we know for sure that we're impacting the team that's there. And then that team, they're going out to the community and then they're impacting that. And then that's our brand. So it's the brand that we have that's influencing our buyers. That's influencing, everybody else that's tapped into that. So we really have to be careful about that. And if you see 15 people going to the left, guess what? Let's go to the right. Let's see what the right looks like, because it might be something completely different. And then by us going to the right, now that's going to put us in the history books, because now we did something different. If you keep following behind other people, how would you ever expect to make history? How can you ever create your rainbow if you're always following behind somebody else's rainbow? It's impossible.
Not only that, you're using their paintbrush to paint your picture.
Right.
You're using their ideas. But the thing about it is, from what I'm understanding that you're saying, you're giving so much. You're giving so much of the tools to thrive. You're giving so much of not only thriving for yourself, not only the mental mindset and I want to do this and I want to do that, not only the balanced culture at the plate, at the job or whatever, but tools to thrive. And I think in some ways we have to remember that thriving doesn't just mean what you do in business. It's what you do in life. Like you said, we have to replenish ourselves every time we empty ourselves. But if we're emptying ourselves and not knowing what we need, what do we need to attach to? What do we need to grow on? It's like having that seed that you look at and you go, do I water it? Do I give it, do I give it something to grow by? Does it need food? What does it need for me to get a little sprout? And every day you go into that pot looking for a sprout, just a sign that something that I'm doing is right. Something that I'm doing is going right. And then someone tells you, well, add this or add that. And you look at it and you go, no, I think I'm going to go over here and add this. So how or what tools do you find most people are missing?
The most tools that people are missing is just the tool of having that mindset. A lot of people just automatically doubt themselves. And I always tell them it's almost equivalent to someone as they're running track. When they say on your mark is your mind. That's on your mind. You get your mind together. When they say get set, the mind commands the body. You got to get the body right. And then you're able to go and execute. But a lot of people, they're not able to go because they don't have their mind right. A lot of people, they think that they have an idea about something, but they're really not too sure about this idea. So I tell them right now, your mission is to find out what your mission is.
Oh, very good.
Find out what your mission is. Once you're clear on your mission, then we can get clear on defining that. I always tell people you see things twice, once in your head or in your dreams, and then you see it in reality. But a lot of people, they fail to see it in reality because they're all over the place mentally. I need you to mentally get that part together. So many people don't understand that the most powerful weapon that we have, it is the mind. And that is just it. We have to get that mind together. A lot of people think that, oh, it's my family sabotaging me, or it's my friends, or it's my coworkers. The enemy is in plain sight, and sometimes the enemy is right there in the mirror. It
Yep.
is us. So we cannot negotiate with that old self. That old self was scared, it was worried, it was confused, it was lazy. We can't negotiate with that old self anymore. We are coming upon something new. So when you are building this something new, it's easier to fall back into old habits. We have to replace old habits, and we have to turn them into something good. Becoming an entrepreneur, it is really a challenge. And they always say that most businesses, they don't fail within the first year. It's not the business, it's the person failed within the first year. The person got burned out. The person got tired of hearing no. So once we can really start to articulate and sharpen that mind, we can go anywhere that is possible. But I can't just believe in my clients. I need for them to believe in themselves.
In themselves.
Yeah.
Once these leaders start to believe that I am the right leader for this team, I can make a difference with this team, then now we can go. Now we can make that difference, because now you're sending them different vibrations. And I don't want leaders to be a vibe. I want for you guys to be a launch pad. I want for people to launch off of you, and then the only choice is to excel. But you have to believe it within yourself. They always about company culture. The company leaders and CEOs, we're not responsible for the culture, but we are responsible for the culture, because it does start with us. We do create a harmonious environment within ourselves. It's just only able to be mirror reflected within the teams that we have, and they can feel that, and they do feel empowered, where they do have that voice, where now they are like, you know what, I can stay here for a while. Like, I would like to retire from here. And nowadays, you don't have a lot of people talking about they feel comfortable retiring somewhere.
No kidding.
Gen Zers and millennials, they're just kind of looking for that paycheck right now.
You know what? And I just want to put a footnote on that influencer versus leadership. Because for me, especially in this day and age, you know, because we have, you know, taken things and transformed the meaning into something meaningless, right? So, you know, I fully embrace that leadership. You do influence others, but I think it's more of, if you are in leadership, your focus is on building others, and influencing, you're focused on just building yourself, right? In today's world of influence versus leadership. And I think the word leadership is so important, because of the way that we have taken the influencer title, and it really is in the sense, in this new generation, is all about me, not about, you know, impacting someone else for their sake, for their good sake. Let's put it that way.
Right. But you know what, the thing about it is, the words that you're saying right there, Felice, are so important, because what I found was, in today's culture, the young folks, in the young folks, and they're probably younger than Shauntel, or not as wise as Shauntel, because we already decided she's one of them young.
She's only 2.5 decades old.
She ain't old at all. But the thing about it is that a lot of them go to work. They know what their title is, and they have a vision that they're only going to do as much as the title incorporates. They're not there to learn. They're not there to follow. They're not looking at how the structure of the business is. They're not looking at what the CEO does, what the president does, whatever. They're not looking at that structure. They're not even looking for that structure, because in their mind, they're not going to be there. The same setup that they have in that structure is the same setup they will need in their entrepreneurial experiences, regardless to what you're going to be. You got to have a president or someone in charge. You got to have someone that's taking all the blunt and all the blow, which is usually your vice president, who's, you know, coming in saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. Those board meetings are surrounded by people that are doing the little intricate stuff. But if you have not paid attention to where you fit in that leadership pie, then you'll never know how to create the pie for yourself. You can't create something that you just don't understand. So when you come to someone such as Shauntel, and she tells you, get your mind right, you're going to have to reflect on well, what were they doing there?
Mm-hmm.
How were they doing that there? I remember someone saying to me, well, I don't understand how it's so easy for you and you just got here.
Mm-hmm.
My past experience has shown me how to react and how to do in certain situations, because I didn't go to work and just get my check. No, you didn't. See, Shauntel, that's that crime stuff.
You know what? And see, I'm her partner in crime, but she's not my partner. Normally, oh my gosh. No,
you asked her phone turned off, but your phone was turned off.
Lord, please forgive me.
I am so glad that our audience is used to us. I am so glad. It never fails. In every show, something goes on.
This is the first time on my side. In fact, I'm like,
that is too funny. I couldn't let that go by. But Shauntel, could you expand on just that idea of and they are the ones that really are sitting in that creativity mode. The younger generation with TikTok and videos and everything. I had a girlfriend that called me up. Well, not a girlfriend. She was one of my athletes, called me up and said her son was graduating from high school. And when she told him he had to go to college, what had he done in searching packages and everything else? I don't need all of that. I'm going to be either a gamer or a TikTok performer.
Influence.
Where did you get that idea, son? Where would you think that you're going to make that into a job and you have absolutely no skills? We're not talking about somebody that had been singing or had been dancing or had been gaming. This was just his idea. So how do we get that culture to understand that, yeah, you get pennies to the dollar until you get a certain level of followers. You get pennies to the dollar until you do a certain amount of time in that field. How do we get them to understand that?
Well, I think that is really interesting because you do have a lot of successful people that have been able to ride those waves where they are able to get this phenomenal amount of success. And I think that it's just life that has to teach them these lessons. We can say things, but they're like, well, you don't know because you haven't done it yourself. And so they have to figure it out themselves. Life will give us some lessons and we might have to pay a little, we might have to pay a lot, but you're going to pay something for those lessons.
Exactly. And that's what his mother was trying to tell him, that, you need, if that's what you truly want to do, you need to get with some people that are doing it. You need to get with like-minded individuals that have that already started. They already are in, and he steady was telling her, no, I want my own. And she was trying to explain it to him. And that's why I got the phone call, which I had to immediately ask her, I don't even know how to cut on TikTok. Why are you calling me about this? I'm just learning it myself. So I have no idea how they get paid. I have no idea what gamers do. I see them, but I have no insight to give him. I have nothing to give him but the understanding that, son, it don't happen overnight.
Right. And it doesn't happen the way they think, because all they see primarily is one person in front of you, like we are on this camera, and they don't know the
they don't know the background.
They don't know anything about the emails Nanette sends out in preparation for the. They don't know any of those things, and that's, for me, the downfall of this internet age, because all this information is available to them, but there's no context or no context in which to apply it. There's no wisdom that goes along with the knowledge that is at everybody's fingertips, right? And so when the wisdom is lost, the knowledge is useless. And furthermore, the lost art of leadership, understanding that as a team, each of you are leaders, are cultivating leadership, even in the roles that you play, right? But that's lost. That is no longer something that is inherent to us as human beings, because we have, again, all this knowledge, but no wisdom in which to apply.
So what do we do about that younger generation, Shauntel? What do we tell them?
I would, if that was my son saying that, then I would definitely have him work with some of the best people that are making that amount of money that he wishes to make, so that he can learn their backstory, so that he can understand that it might have taken them 2 years to build up that following content, that it's not as glamorous as it may seem.
Exactly.
4 posts a day, that they had to spend 6 hours on TikTok doing engagement and building
exactly
brand, so that he has a clearer sense of what it does look like to be in this lifestyle. And then he can start to have different options. Say, okay, so now that you know about the TikTok option, now let's try the school option. What does going to school look like?
Exactly.
Talk to people that's going to school. Then he can talk to people who took that leap year and now they're in the corporate world and they're doing an internship somewhere, so that he can talk to different people who are
and
around
have a different angle.
And have angles, and they're able to speak in his own language, and they're able to give him the good, the bad, the ugly, and then he can sleep on it and decide what will be the best step for him. Not the best step for him today and this month and this year, but 5 years from now, so that he doesn't have any regrets, and so that he can really start to build that sustainable rainbow where he can have that pot of gold. Because
I did like you. I used the analogy that I understood, which was sports. I used that analogy to him and said, do you really think that these sports personalities that are now, greats, phenomenals, do you think they skipped practice? Do you think that they didn't go and practice with someone that was better than them? That they didn't go out and learn different techniques and different things from them? And in the meantime, learn how to survive. Learn how to, you're getting ready to be a young man. You can't go out and say, I'm playing video games all day with hopes that I'm going to be a gamer. Because in the meantime, you're going to be eating Pop-Tarts and cereal because you have not went anywhere to get any knowledge on how do I survive until then? Right? How do I make it until then? So I understand what you're saying, that linking them with the people that they need to link to. But here's my question. Linking people to other people, do you find a lot of incompatibility? We always have that one person, and I know we've all done it, where you go to work and you do something and they give you something and they say, hey, do this project. I'm behind. Can you handle this? And Felice is a whiz at this. They give you the project and you do a phenomenal job with the project. And now they're upset because they think you're better than them. How do we make a leader out of the person either that is doing the job or the person who is given the job?
Well, I think that's kind of like 2 different types of questions here. So are we still using the analogy of the boy, or are we using the
No. This is a separate thing altogether. No.
Okay. So I think that it is important that we do build up our teams and that we do help each other out. And like I always say, I always call it reverse mentorship, where you have a senior leader join partners with a junior leader. That way the junior leader is able to show them these new innovative tactics, and the leader is able to talk to them about the institutional knowledge. So together now they're partnered and they are a force. It's not about the individual work. It's about us having a shared vision. We're able to come through as a team. And when you come through as a team, if you want to put it in a sports analogy, you don't have to win every single football game in the championship.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're going to take losses, but you extract the lessons from those losses together. And maybe as a quarterback, we might have to call some audibles around here, but we're going to be able to work together as a team.
Exactly.
So if I do pass something along to you and you may excel better in it, then maybe now you're going to be the new captain of that work. And then maybe I should be finding something else that I'm able to do within that teamwork.
To enhance. That's right.
It's not I thing. It's always a we thing. It's and together as us, we're gonna evolve, and that's just it. And we don't put, if something does happen, we're not gonna put all the blame on one person. We don't do that.
Exactly.
That person's not gonna be the scapegoat. We're gonna come together, and it's gonna be an opportunity
and figure it out. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, I appreciate that, because there's so many people that want to pull and tug, and you're pulling and tugging at the dream. You know, you keep pulling, I keep pulling, the dream will never get done because we're pulling in opposite directions of what we're trying to build. So I appreciate you explaining that, because a lot of times we look at things in such a light of me, or I. We forget all about the fact that without them, I wouldn't be able to get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many times am I going to insult the person who, you know, who I'm trying to work with? It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Well,
okay. So I have another burning question. Oh, don't I love this. Okay, so Shauntel, outside of your global leadership and all of the leadership things that you do, what other interests do you have personally? I mean, personally, or outside of just the global thing.
Well, the thing about it is that personally, I'm really invested now on just doing the teaching, and the teaching component of it. It has expanded from just my book, Influence Yourself and Leadership in Life, but it's expanded like to my workbooks on how I have a workbook, Reboot Your Leadership, and also to the 24-hour CEO work week. And it's really about teaching individuals from real life case scenarios. I've worked with over hundreds of different leaders. So I've been in a lot of different industries. So now I'm able to really have a story time with people and tell them, like, you're not alone. This isn't just a you thing. Let me tell you about a story about how this happened. And here's a good framework that we can be able to build upon. I think that it really helps me become just not like your typical coach. I don't want to be your traditional coach. And we talk about affirmations and we talk about here's all these courses that you have to read through and all these videos that you have to watch. That's not going to work for us nowadays. We need to be able to get wins immediately. And I like doing that just by having conversations and really actually teaching people. I never thought that I would be like in a teaching capacity, but it really feels awesome just being a teacher and helping people learn from different lessons so that they're able to grow and then they're able to progress their team. And once the team starts to progress and they start to have these wins, it really does delight my heart. It really does make me feel like, okay, like, wow, like we're making a difference out here. Like we can continue to make this difference. It'll have the economy looking completely different, where you do want to have Gen Zers want to come and be on this economy.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, they're the ones that have the energy. They have the energy. If you give them a reason to fight, and I don't mean physically, I mean a reason to fight for whatever it is they're trying to build, or whatever it is you're trying to build. If they're really behind what you're doing and how you're doing it, why not show them how to do it? Why not give them the baton, pass it on to them, and tell them there's a legacy in it for all? There's enough of the things that we do in society for everyone to sit at the table. There's enough room. There's enough room. And if there's not enough room at the table, we need to get in a bigger room. So let's push to get another building, to get in a bigger room so we can put in another table. We need to be able to create a space for everyone from every culture, every environment, all of that, because we need to be able to expand. How are you going to expand into what you don't know? So we need that. But I love your saying here. Don't focus on where you are now. Focus on where you're going. Don't look back. Explain.
Yeah, I think it's also too important to focus on what you can't do, but what you can do. Because if you can do is you can hire somebody who can do those things.
Yes.
You can do that. And once you have a team of smart individuals within their own respective wheelhouse, then now you guys can really get that focus going, and you guys really can focus on future proofing your business, because our business is all about the problems that we solve. It's all about the pain points that we alleviate for our clients. And the moment you lose focus on what pains you solve, that's the moment that you lose focus. We have to learn how to build up strategic relationships with our EQ, our soft skills, because the moment you run out of relationships, that's the moment you run out of your business. And we lose sight of it all the time. So we have to not only focus on where we are, but focus on the future and focus on the problems that we have, that we solve as our business.
Yeah. And I want the audience to understand that word focus has a lot to do with where you're going. Because if your eyes aren't focused,
right,
your mind is not focused, you're stumbling and falling. You can't see where you're going. You don't understand where you're going. You will not speak what you don't know. So all of this focus right here, this really, really, really resonated with me very well, because I was like, half of the people walk around blindly. You know, they're walking around saying, well, I don't want that because I don't know if that's going to help me. Well, where are you going to get what's going to help you if you don't open your eyes to see what you need?
But most importantly, focus is about being disciplined. And people, they see discipline and then that's a red light for them. They want to stop. But no, discipline is a green light. And we have to be disciplined, because when we wake up, discipline is not going to ask you, how are you doing today? How do you feel? It's not going to ask you those questions. It is about what must be done, no matter what.
Right.
And it's not imaginary either. It's not imaginary. It's not what you imagine or what you rubbing your eyes for in the morning. All of that, you can forget all of that, because you got to get yourself adjusted to a mindset of, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. Make it a habit. Make it a habit. Yeah. I understand that totally. Another one that you had that I thought was really interesting was practice doesn't make it perfect. It makes it permanent.
Yes.
Have you ever fallen into a situation where you realized you were making the same mistake over and over and over and over again? Well, you've been practicing the same thing. That's why I unplugged the phone before we start the interviews now, because it keeps happening the same way. The best thing to do is just unplug it, because without that, I don't know if it's going to ring again or not. But I do know if it's unplugged, it will not ring. It will not do it. So the thing is, we have to make a habit out of doing things. So practicing it is great. Practice makes perfect. And it also makes it permanent, because now it's in your mind. It's in the mindset. So I love that. I love that. I love that. That was one of your favorite sayings. I'm taking Shauntel's favorite sayings here. This is what she's saying are words to go by. And then the last one that she had was, don't let your dreams get deferred. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, because in order to have a dream come true, you have to have a dream. So we're not dreaming anymore. And people are not being serious about their dreams. And so if you're not serious about your dream isn't going to be serious about you. One of my clients, he said, I can't remember the last time I had a dream. Yeah, because your dream was like, why are we here if you're not going to do anything about it?
Oh, wow.
So
wow. That's
the dream just left, right?
It was like, there's nothing to see here.
Ain't nothing to see here. And you know, he took pride on saying I only get 2 hours of sleep and I'm okay. No, that's not right.
No.
You're slowly killing yourself. We at least need 6 hours of sleep, let alone 8 hours of sleep. So a lot of people's dreams gone. They just stopped dreaming.
And that's true. That's so true.
It's like
that's so
2 hours of sleep. That dream like, yo, you don't need me.
Not only that, you didn't give me enough time to even get there.
Right.
That part. Right.
You get me? You didn't lay down long enough for me to even drop in.
Right.
Never did get into that rapid eye movement stage.
Exactly.
Because they're not even at that point. So
I'll show you some rapid eye movement.
Oh my goodness. But you know what? You are absolutely right. That when you get that constant dream state, or you get that constant nudge. I always call it a nudge. I tell my husband that all the time. When something nudges me enough, if I don't do it, it's going to nudge me more.
Yeah.
I will not be able to sleep. I will be tossing and turning with that thought. I got to get up and do this, because if I don't do this, and you probably, Shauntel, can relate to this as an author. If I get something that I have to write, I might have to get up in the middle of the night and write.
Oh, yeah.
I might have to I have notebooks in my car.
Right.
Because of the simple fact that if I don't get it, and the bad part about me is I don't have the memory to remember what it is, because I'm in that state. I'm not in the state of repetition. I'm in the state of here's the vision, take the vision and run with it. If I don't run with it at that particular time, or even put just a note down, I could put down 1 or 2 words and come back to it. But if I don't put anything down, the next night or the next couple of days, it's going to nudge me again. It's going to nudge me until I do it. It does the same thing for things I shouldn't do. If something went on and I'm like, I'm going to confront that tomorrow, I'll get that nudge. Leave that alone. Just drop it. It's not for you. Or if I'm trying to work something out again with writing and it just doesn't come, I'm like, that idea just is not going anywhere. I'll get the idea will be deleted. Get rid of it. So you are so right. Our subconscious mind connects to our conscious mind. And if you only giving it 2 hours to get itself adjusted, it's tired too. It's been working all day too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is so
It is great. I love that. Don't let your dreams get deferred.
No, don't let them get deferred. Grab them while they're going through the air. Grab them and work on them. Yes. So how does one decipher, Shauntel, outside of business? Because you're put together to the point where I know I'm going to get them nuggets. Oh, let me call Shauntel and find out what she think about what I'm doing. And I'm not talking about business. I'm just talking about in general. Family, friends, anybody. It's almost like I'm going to the lady with the tarot cards and she ain't got no cards in front of her. Let me find out what I'm supposed to be doing. How do you separate the who you are with the who you are to others?
That's a great question, because who I am to my family is the same thing who I am in my business. I'm a role model. I am an innovator. I am that trailblazer.
I love it.
Jump off that cliff. That's why I love doing what I'm doing in business, because this is who I am in life. My values are the same. Nothing really gets disconnected. I'm always going to be helping somebody out. That part, it just doesn't stop. I could stop working with a client and then I see someone crossing the street with a lot of bags and I'm like, hey, can I get a bag for you? Or what can I do to help you out? I'm always have that servitude to help out others. So it's really gratifying when I am with my family and I'm able to help them out as well too. That's why I'm doing it, is so I can help out my family.
And I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. Because, and what I wanted to bring to the point is authentically. Authenticity. You are who you are. And if you have a vision and a dream, you are to be that vision and that dream. You can't separate the two. You can't be a drinker on this side and then sell the notion that you don't want folks driving and drinking. You know, you can't separate the two. So I'm glad that it came full picture because that's what I wanted to hear you say and knew you were going to say it. I knew, because of the
I
way
think
you
that's how
stated it.
individuals are really able to bloom. That's how you bloom, is when you running on all of your cylinders, whether it's 4, 6, 8, or 12, however many cylinders you got. When you're running on all cylinders, you have no other choice but to bloom. And that's something healthy. That's something beautiful.
Exactly.
That's something that is to be remembered and honored. And I think that we all need to come into full bloom. But a lot of us are hesitant to come into that full bloom because we're just like, what happened if this doesn't work out right? But what happens if it does work out right?
Yeah.
That's that deferred dream. That's that deferred dream.
Yeah.
So Shauntel, I know that you have your website, wishingyoubellinlife.com, and we invite all of our audience to check out Shauntel, check out the program. And if you're going into business, by all means, get yourself together first with a speaker, coach. Even if you're having an event, we have a lot of women events, and we have a lot of events where we're trying to lift others in their wellness and everything else. Invite Shauntel. Invite her to speak. Invite her to engage with your audience. That's what iPen Podcast is about. Networking and connecting audiences. We want to make sure that we connect in what you do. Her website?
My website is actually wishingyoubellinlife.org. And you can also too send me an email. My email address is Shauntel. That is SHAUNTEL at wishingyoubellinlife.org. If you mention this podcast, I can get you a discount on my workbooks, and I can share out the link for my book that's on Amazon, and we can just start to have some quick wins. If you are looking for a leadership workforce development speaker for one of your conferences, your retreats, or a webinar, definitely send me an email and let me see how I can add some value to your panel. And let's just start to do this work now, because it needs it now more than ever.
Yes. Make sure you connect with her. Make sure you bring her, your information. Don't just connect with her and say, "Hey, I just want this." Don't do that. Don't do that, people.
And let me be your partner in crime. So
no.
Just wanted to.
She has to evaluate the partners in crime first. So no, But the thing about it is, if you want those workbooks, if you want to get her books, if you want to read her information, if you want to get to know who she is, then you need to contact her at her email address. Contact us at the podcast. We'll give you all of her information. Making sure that the connections are made is what we want to do. We want to make sure that you get the best of the best. We're not trying to bring you people that don't know what they're doing or don't know how to do it. They're in all different fields. So you have a variety of people that you can go to and find out, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Well, here's somebody that could show you how to connect with those you need to connect with. Felice, you want to give her that question that
I do, but I have a bonus question because I want to really know this. So, Shauntel, are you native to San Francisco?
Yes, second generation.
Okay.
Very good, very good, very good. See, I like to know about the person behind the awesomeness. So awesome. Well, then there you go. That's why. Because me personally haven't met a lot of people from San Francisco, right? They moved there and they live there, now. But so very good. Okay, so my burning question is: you are magnificent. You are phenomenal. You, like I said, you celebrate what you're doing. You celebrate it, and I think you sort of kind of answered this a little bit earlier, but I'm going to ask it again. What do you do to fill your cup?
What I do to fill my cup is I spend time with my nieces. My nieces, they are just the joy of my life right now. They just got my heart wholeheartedly. So I love spending time with them. I love spending time with my mom. She's very wise. My great grandmother, she lived to be 104 years old, and we just really tap into her wisdom. Seriously, like she was just really phenomenal, and she just really taught us how to be free. She really taught us about the key words of the word freedom, and a lot of people don't really understand that. So I'm filling my cup up. I'm really enjoying my free time, and I'm reading books. I'm tapping into audio books. I'm tapping into things that's going to make me even more phenomenal, and things that are really going to inspire me. In order to be inspiring, I have to inspire. And it's almost like it's like magnetic. It's like that domino effect. You know how people line up those dominoes? Those dominoes have to strategically be lined up. You have to line them up at a different angle. It takes people hours to line up those dominoes.
That's right.
But once you hit one, then it just goes all the way around, and then it closes the door, and something goes down. It's really about lining everything up in my free time. So when I'm really filling myself up, I'm aligning myself up so that I can be able to be that domino effect for somebody else, or so that they can be a domino effect for me, because I don't have all the answers, and I don't claim to have all the answers. Sometimes my niece, she's 6 years old, she inspires me to do different things, and it's like, oh wow, like this is really something else. A few years ago, one of my other nieces, this guy, he said, "You guys have change for 100," and my niece, she said, "That is change." And I said, well,
baby. I'm not ready. Yes, but I love that.
So she definitely woke me up on that one. I'm like, I got to think bigger. Okay, I'm thinking small. Like, it's those things where we need those things to kind of wake us up a little bit, because we were on snooze and didn't even know we were snoozing.
Right. Well, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really enjoyed this conversation. The highlights, the information is phenomenal. I want people to understand that here we go again. We go past that hour only when the conversation is that intriguing. Only when the nuggets that are being dropped. I don't even call them nuggets at that point. I call them jewels. Take those jewels, put them around your neck, put them around your wrists, put them in your pocket. Line yourself with these jewels. Wear the big old earrings. Do whatever you're going to do, but make sure you wear the jewels that you have been given tonight, because Shauntel, we want to thank you so much for dropping those jewels and bringing those jewels to them. And we welcome you to our platform at any time. Whenever you do something new, do something innovative, we want to know about it. So thank you so much. At this time, we're going to tell you guys good night. Don't want to hold you much longer. Make sure you tune in next week, and please subscribe. Please go to Shauntel's website and get her books. Get started on putting the clasp on your jewels.
There you go.
Talk to you later. Good night.
Good night. Thank you. It was so good.